there, we're gonna have a great time doing it. So we're gonna wait for our gauge. I got it where I wanted at 35 psi. Now this may be a little high. Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Defiant Jeep. Today we find ourselves in my garage again, and of course we're going to be playing with Defiant. Now today is nothing super spectacular. It's not going to be like a real super special treat, but it is kind of nice because we will be replacing another part. Now Defiant, as you've seen him for the last year and a half as he's been driving around, has had these Bushwacker flat style fenders, and they've been a wonderful fender. They offer me a lot of space for a lot of flexing, or the amount of flexing that I have done in the past. And of course a different style versus the factory style or the factory look of the original Fender. Now these are a fantastic product. You know, they're made out of polymer, some form of plastic, whether it be polyethylene or whatever it is. But to me they serve their purpose. I'm ready for my next upgrade. Now Defiant has been running on these flat fenders since about 2018. Today is December 2nd, 2023. So it's been a good 5 years and I'm ready to move on to the next stage. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace those fenders with these steel fenders I got from Oedro. Now they are actually thinner, so they're going to expose more tire, but they are going to require a little bit more work to install them. I'm going to use fasteners like rev nuts, and of course all the new hardware that came with the kit. Now these particular ones, these very ones, I got them from a friend of mine, Brian from Dirt Monkey. He went ahead and picked them up for me. He's had them, got them like super cheap, so of course I reimbursed him for it. But what a great deal. I couldn't pass it up. So perfect opportunity. Go ahead and change the fenders. And instead of throwing these out, these fenders I have donated to Jackie Smiley of Predator. Predator is the name of her Jeep, so Predator is going to be sporting a new look with these fenders after I remove them. So what I'm going to do is, this is going to be like super quick. We're going to go do the time-lapse thing. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to remove all four of the fenders, of course put the hardware to a side, and in order to keep my hardware in good order, or some kind of order, I've got these little dish bowls. These are magnetic dish bowls. They will attach to anything metal except for aluminum, because I guess it doesn't stick, and just toss them in here so they don't dance around. And then I'll bag them so that all the hardware is nicely organized for when I, give these fenders away to my friend Jackie, and so she and her husband can put them together, or if she wants me to help her install them, it's all good. That's not going to be a problem. I'm looking around to make sure I'm not missing anything. All right, so before I move forward, let's take a look at what we're going to do today. As far as the fenders, like I said, we're going to go ahead and remove the old ones, put the new ones on. But before I do that, Defiant does have inner fender liners. And these are aftermarket custom ones. I can't remember who I got them from, probably like Hook Road, which I think it was. And I'll leave you a link for everything I'm talking about, the Bushwacker fenders, the Oedro fenders, the Hook Road fender liners. I'll leave you a link for all that jazz, just to give you an idea if you're interested in those, or at least you have an idea what to look for. So the inner fender liners, they are going to come out, and there's nothing wrong with them. They're not rusty or anything, but they've been on Defiant as long as those Bushwacker fenders. And like I said, 2018. They are dirty, they are sun faded, and they have the white backing on it that shows either the Army star or my rears have the coordinates for Moab. What I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and drill out those rivets, and we're going to pop out the back, the white backing. We're going to clean it up, and then we're going to paint it as close as possible to Defiant's original Gobi color. which I call it a desert sand. I have a can over here somewhere. That's my flat black. Here it is. Here it is. All right, so I got this rattle can from Walmart. It is a Rust-Oleum, some camouflage series of what they got, but it is the tan in their camouflage series, and I found it in the hardware area, so it's not bad. This is the same can that I've used when I painted the diff covers, those metal coat diff covers. So I know that the paint's gonna match somewhat. So we'll just keep this on the available. Let me put that down. So, okay, I think we're ready to go. Now the tools that I'm gonna use, I'm gonna use this electric screwdriver to help me back out the 7 fenders. I'm sorry, 7 screws from the fenders. And then once those are off, let's take a look at the mounting hardware, because there's brackets underneath the Bushwackers. So we're gonna see what fasteners we use on that to get those off. And then there's also, I don't wanna call them C-clips, but a very folded clip that the screw goes into to secure it. All that's coming out. We're gonna go start fresh, we're gonna clean it up, we're gonna install rib nuts on it and put the new fenders on after the fender liners are cleaned and painted and ready to go. So why don't we go and get started, and we're just going to go ahead and dismount all of the fenders. Now the front ones have 7 screws each. Those will come out. The rear fenders have 6 screws each. So as we pull this out, we'll pull them to a side. Alrighty, with the fenders off, we're ready for the next stage. Now, as you notice, when I took the fenders off, there are these mounting brackets that were just underneath there. They have a whole line of hex cap screws and some push pins on there to remove all of those brackets. There's probably a lineup of 3 or 4 on each corner, which is not a problem. We went ahead and determined that the cap nut itself for the cap bolt or cap screw, whatever you want to call it, is a 13 millimeter. And of course, for the push pins, we're going to use one of my favorite tools, these trim tools. You've seen me use these quite a bit. They're always come in handy. So we're going to go ahead and take advantage of this. So let's go ahead and start to remove more hardware. We're going to continue to bag as much as we can. I actually dropped my pen. I'm missing a screw or two. I'll find it somewhere in my driveway. I have to get it before somebody gets a flat tire. I'm going to feel horrible about that, but hey man, stuff happens, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and let's keep on moving. Let's remove all those cap screws and the push pins. All right, so what we're going to do here is you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those cap head bolts, about 13 millimeter. Right behind them are some nuts keeping them in place. They're not threaded to anything else except for nuts and washers back there. And it looks like I can get to most of them except these 2. So the inner fender liner is going to have to come out first, and then I'll take out those screws. And as far as the ones that require the trim tool for the push pins, these are actually pushed to the other 2 plastic mounting features. So honestly, I can take this off as one piece. Let's see how good I can get that done. Let's take off this gaudy bolt first. Already, right here at the rear ones, it's going to be a different issue than the ones in the front. We have these two bolts are at the bottom. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 push pins and 1, 2 hex bolts. It looks like the hex bolts are from the back. More than likely, there's a nut on there. So let's see how we're going to pop these out. So let's go ahead and pop out these trim trees first, these little push pins. If we can get these out, we can get started on this end of the project. Alrighty, we're about partway done with our disassembly here. Now I've only done the passenger side right now, and it's been a little bit of a struggle. One of my trim tools broke. I had to go fetch another one, which wasn't working out very well. Then I got the metal pliers type, and that wasn't working out. Then I found a smaller one that seems to work like a pry bar, and that seemed to help me out the best. And this is just in the rear. The front one was pretty much self-going there. I still need to do the driver's side, which I'm going to do next. I'm not going to show you that. I'm just going to go ahead and do it, and I'll get back to you as soon as I'm ready for the next step. But as soon as all that's disassembled, everything that I'm donating, I'm going to put to a side. My inner fender liners, I'm going to put them to a different side so I can just wash all the debris off them. And I'm going to we're going to drill out the white backing for either the Army Star or for the coordinates from Moab, so that we can repaint these pieces separately. So the inner fender liners, they're going to go back to a flat black. And the white backing, I'm going to paint that to as close as possible gobi color, which is some kind of tan color I showed you earlier. But for right now, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to get me a coffee. I'm going to go chat with my wife for a moment, and I'll be back with you as soon as these other assembly parts are taken off. See you in a second. Alrighty, so my break was a little bit more than just a little break. It turns out that we had plans for yesterday, December 2nd, and I was going to meet some colleagues for a holiday dinner. So of course this is the next day. This is Sunday, December 3rd, and I got a little bit further with it. The inner liners are off. They have been completely removed, and now we're at the part where we're going to go ahead and take out the white backing so that we can clean everything and then repaint it. In fact, I got one of them taken care of already. I wanted to make sure I was able to get it done. I've never popped off or drilled out pop rivets before, and it came out pretty successful. Let me show you what my result is. All right, so here is the inner fender liner, one of the rears. You can see that through the light right there. In fact, let me bring it closer to you. Through the light right there, the white backing has been removed, so you still have the stencil of what it's supposed to be showing. And this right here is ready to be cleaned. Now we are going to go ahead and clean the front as best as humanly possible. We're just going to go ahead and just wash the back since it's never going to be seen anyways. Honestly, the back's probably not even going to get painted because all you're going to see is the front. And just to show you what we got going on, this is the white backing on it. It is a metal plate. It's painted white, and you can tell that that's the front because of all the dirty evidence marks where it actually says Moab and the coordinates. So this is the front. So we're definitely going to thoroughly clean this right here, and hopefully there's some kind of evidence mark that shows which is the front and the back. If not, by lining up the rivet holes is going to be the best way to make that happen. And I'm going to show you what I did to go ahead and remove these rivets. Now, before I do so, let me just make it mention that the rear only had 3 rivets on there had to be drilled out. Not a problem, super easy. The front, just as easy, but the front has, let me count these real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so the front has 7 rivets. The plate is significantly much larger, and the inner fender liners for the front are actually 2 parts. So we're going to completely disassemble it just to get them cleaned up and repainted, and then we'll put it all back together. Okay, let me go ahead and put this one down. And move this fella to a side, which is good right here. Yeah, do apologize about the mess. Working out of your home garage is not necessarily the best or the easiest way of getting many projects done, but you know, as you've noticed, I am that guy, and I have many projects between my hobby, the Jeep, and the off-roading stuff, my career as an IT professional, being married, and my wife is my wife. She tells me to do stuff, I get it done. So yeah, all my projects are as I get to them. Way too funny. But let's go ahead and let's start drilling out some pop rivets. Alrighty, so for this step right here, let's go ahead and grab one of our fenders, which I didn't have it ready, and I'm sorry about that. That is totally my fault for not being prepared. Okay, so with the fender flare or inner fender liner, we got these 3 pop rivets, which is definitely the rear. Now I'm going to take advantage that the rivets go out from the back and they protrude a little bit, and I am going to use this little bench, and since it has these slots in it, we're going to use that as kind of our way through. This way, when we drill the pop rivets through, we actually do not damage the step, which I also use this as a seat, and I don't want to be stuck in the backside with some aluminum. All right, so I pretty much take my drill, and I have a 1/8 drill bit on here, and we're just going to drill them out. And if we need other assistance, I have other tools for that as well. Let's line up this hole. Let's shake off the excess aluminum. Now you want to be careful with the aluminum. The aluminum itself, once it starts to shred out or get all drilled off, it can act as a fish hook, and you do not want that to bite you. Fish hooks are dangerous. It can cause infection. You know, at the easiest case scenario, you're gonna need a tetanus shot. Worst case scenario, you can develop gangrene, and you don't want to do that. All right, so let's go ahead and flip this on the other side here. Now, I do have two of them. They'll need a little bit more persuasion to get them out. So let's try a simple method first. I got that same flathead pocket screwdriver that I normally have with me, and this appears to be a bit tight. That one's out. Let's flip it. Let's find a slot. And let's try and drill it out once again. Let me shake this out. Let me see if it's got any influence in the front. Nope. Well, this is a good one. So let's do this. If we are smart, and that's only a big if, I'm gonna run the drill through the back. Let's see how this works out for me. It was the wrong one, silly man. That should make a difference in the world. And that did it. She's out, and it's still a perfect size. There's no damage to it whatsoever. Let's go ahead and put this to a side. Clean out the back. Oh, I see a little pop rivet there. Okay, it just fell out. That's good. Let's feel the front. I'll pick that up. There's no Mars, there's no fish hooks. As I'm running my fingers, there's nothing catching on my gloves. That's a good sign. Let's go ahead and put this one down. Alrighty, so you can see that this is actually not a hard job. It's just a little bit of a process here. So I'm just using my drill, a 1/8 drill bit, and some other assistance if I needed, like let's say a pair of combination pliers or a real small flathead screwdriver for a little bit of wedging. But it's like a really easy job. It's just a lot to do. I got, let me see, I just did 6, the 2 rears. I got 14 more to do, which is the 2 fronts. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's knock that out. We're gonna take the 2 fronts apart. We're gonna separate them because they are 2 separate sections. And then we're gonna clean them up. Once they're cleaned, we're gonna let them dry. Then we're gonna repaint. We're gonna let that dry, and then we're gonna put Defiant back together. Let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty, for all intents and purposes of this video, I decided to take the inner fender liners apart first because they're easier to handle versus having this extra amount of sheet metal in my way, which would have been like another, I don't know, 18 to 24 inches. So this is a whole lot easier to handle this way. Let's just go ahead and let's get these started. Let's knock them out, and then we'll clean them up. All right, so you're gonna notice on the drill has been collecting all of the button heads from the pop rivets. Make sure you clean those out regularly so you have the full use of your drill bit. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this off, and we're gonna finish taking off that backing plate. Alrighty, with my drill bit all cleaned up, I have now full use of this drill bit. Let's go ahead and finish taking off that backing plate. All right, we got it out. Let's go ahead and clean it up. We're gonna just pop some of these fellas out from the back, and we're all set. Alrighty, with all the inner liners disassembled and of course uninstalled from the vehicle, taken apart to whatever sections they are, and the backing plates completely removed, we are now ready for wash them. The washing them is basic. You know, you wash your clothes, you wash your car, you clean your house. Washing this is not going to be any different. So let's just go ahead and knock that out relatively quickly, and we're going to let them dry so that we can start painting. All right, here we go. Alrighty, so now the inner fender liners and their backing plates are completely washed. At this point, I'm going to let them dry. It's not going to take a long time here in Las Vegas. Even though it is December, it is cold. but it is a different kind of dry. So the water will evaporate relatively quick. But as you notice by the light behind me, it is getting pretty late, so I'm going to put a stop to this project today. I will continue this tomorrow, where I will shoot them with some paint and let them dry. And yeah, we're coming into the work week, so this is going to take me a couple days after my demanding schedule. But yeah, we'll get this finished as fast as we can. So just hang in there. I'm going to let these dry. We'll come back tomorrow to get them repainted and see how fast we can get them to dry to get them installed. Just hang in there. Only be a moment.